So we're talking 401k stuff. Friends, family of mine, they're telling me, hey, don't do it. Coworkers are like, you guys are fucking crazy, out of your mind. But I'm so glad that we didn't listen to any of them, right? But 401k, man, for the listeners out there, like, dude, there's so many reasons why it just doesn't work long term. You mentioned, hey, retirement wise, what do you need to retire off this 401k to live a comfortable life?
So the traditional knowledge, and if you use a 401k calculator, usually they use the 4% rule.
Mhm.
And that came from the Trinity study. Basically, I think it's Trinity University somewhere in Texas or something like that, where they studied and calculated that like there is a 98% probability. They looked at everything from before the Great Depression and all the way up to like when the study was published in like the late 90s. If you were to retire every single year, they calculated that if you lived off of 4% of whatever your nest egg is, then you had like a 95% probability of not running out of money before you die. And that's what a lot of the retirement systems are based off of. So to do the math quickly and do it the opposite way, you can determine, okay, how much do I want to live off of every single year for me to think I'm comfortable? And for some Americans, they might say, you know, for easy math, 100K, you would need $2.5 million. You multiply by 25. So you need 2.5 million in your retirement account. And the problem is in today's money, that might be okay, but in the future, that's not going to be that much money for one.
It will be worth 50,000 by that time, and you got to pay taxes on that money.
Yeah, exactly. Depending on which route you're going, you can't touch that money until a certain date, so you can throw early retirement out the window.
And dude, saving up 2.5 in a 401k, that's probably 2% of people will do that.
Exactly.
Maybe less than
and
that.
I think a lot of people don't realize, like, if you're listening to this and you've
1%.
never calculated, go onto a calculator, you can Google it, type in how much money you have in your retirement account now and how much you're putting in there every single month, and it'll blow your mind that it's not that much when you get to retirement. And here's the thing, regardless of how much money you have in there, what you're investing in are index funds, which are stocks, right? It's just a collection of stocks. In order to access the money, you sell shares. So the idea is by living off of 4%, like you have a higher probability of the money not running out, but it's still a nest egg and it's slowly getting drained if you're going to live off of it. What I love about real estate is if you have a cash flowing property, it cash flows for eternity. And essentially, as long as you take care of the property, and you're getting richer over time as opposed to someone that's living off their 401k getting poorer.
That's so good.
It's the complete and utter opposite. And when I started realizing that, that's when I was like, dude, screw my 401k. Like, I understand that's a risk because obviously real estate still carries risk. And if you don't just jump into real estate without knowing what you're doing, you could lose all your money.
Yeah.
But I think you and I were looking at it as, I have one life to live. I don't want to do this job until retirement age. And I'd rather take that risk and set myself up for a retirement that's evergreen, that I could pass on to descendants if I want to, and I can continue growing my wealth and controlling my money instead of letting Wall Street control it.
I love that. And to take it a step further, you know, if you look at the median 401k balance by age, you know, folks in their 60s and 50s, 40s, the median balance by age is like less than $200,000, even at those prime ages. And so to think, okay, maybe you get $1 million in there. Like if you really push the pedal, you might get to $1 million. 2.5, dude, I think less than 1% of 1% actually really do that. But let's just say you push it and you get to $1 million. Okay, well, 4%, you're gonna live off of that annually, which is $40,000. And then you're gonna pay taxes, income taxes on that $40,000. And by the way, this is in 20, 25 years from now, 30 years from now, when that $40,000 is really only gonna be worth $20,000. Good luck.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna like live on someone's couch?
I mean, yeah, you don't have to go to work, but like you're going to be limited on how you can enjoy your golden years, quote unquote. And look no further than the boomer generation. I mean, look at the numbers, look at the typical boomer and what they're retiring with. And, you know, if you're listening to this, look to your parents or grandparents, people you know, and I can almost say with certainty that they're not probably not living the kind of retirement life that you're imagining yourself living.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably still having to watch their money, budget very strictly so that they can make sure they don't run out of money. That's not the kind of retirement I want to live.
Same thing. And if you look at the real estate stuff, it's like, okay, well, real estate is tax advantage. So $100,000 in real estate is $100,000. But also, how quickly can you build up the passive income with the real estate and get to $10,000 a month, get to $20,000 a month? A lot quicker than putting money away in a 401k and pounding your head against the wall 6-day work weeks for 25, 30, 35 years to get there. I mean, it's a lot. I mean,
for sure.
We're testament to that. We punched out of that workplace. Once we cashed out our 401ks, I mean, personally, I had about 300 and something in there. I put away money for like 11 years. It grows. It doesn't grow as quickly as they say, but 300K, and then now net worth wise, I mean, I'm pushing about 10 mil net worth almost. And I'm like, dude, had I kept my money in that 401k kept pounding, I
No
wouldn't
way.
even be at $1 million by now.
No
Think
way.
about that.
And like to that point about like, the, 4% of a million. Let's say you're one of the fortunate people to have a million, 4%, 40 grand a year.
Yeah.
Okay. Getting to that per year and cash flowing real estate. I won't say there's a lot of things easy. I won't say that real estate itself is easy, but if you start in your 20s, your 30s, or even your 40s, I do believe that it's not that difficult to get to that amount,
hmm
just to the 40 grand a year. If that's, and start beating out a 401k, I think that that's fairly easy in real estate
Yeah.
to get done.
And one last thing to add to this topic, I think you could argue that the 401k was not built for the employee. It was almost built for Wall Street, and it was built for the government, right?
100%.
Because government, you're basically investing the government's tax money. If you go the traditional route, we're not talking about the Roth, but if you go the traditional route, you are basically investing and compounding and taking all the risk for the government. And by the way, taxes are probably going to go up over time, and you're going to be basically investing their money. And then when you go to a 59.5, now you pay taxes on all that money. That's cash flow for the government. And so the craziest part about that is they penalize you for taking your money out before age 59.5, 10%
Yeah.
to the Fed, 2.5% to the state of California.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 72.5, I believe it is, they will penalize you if you don't start taking your money out because they know you're about to die and they need to collect their taxes. It's a pretty ruthless system.
Yeah.
And it proves that it's built for them and not for you. And then the last thing I'll say is, Wall Street, they're making fees on your money, whether your balance goes up or down. They could give you a negative annual performance over the course of a year, but still collect their fees. They make money, you don't.